let's talk about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's budget. He has leaked out key components of his budget. And, this is where I stand with budgets. Budgets are, more often than not, budgets are a reflection of your values, particularly a president or the Speaker of the House or a senator or whoever's pushing a particular budget. It communicates your values. It communicates what's important to you. And from that, we can extrapolate that it represents your character and what's important to you enough to put money behind it. Donald Trump's budget has come out, and we see that the way he's going to pay for all of his wall, the way he's going to pay for his increase in military spending, it's going to be on the backs of the most marginalized in society, and on the back of the arts and the sciences. It's insane, to be quite honest with you. The depth of disdain that is communicated in this budget. So let's get to some particular numbers and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So the first thing he does is he boosts military spending by $54 billion. Now, we saw this coming down the pipe. He mentioned this previously, but this is offset by cuts of the same size to non-defense programs. Early drafts described by the government officials call for dramatic cuts, including agencies, including 1/4 of the Environmental Protection Agency's budget, 1/3 of the State Department's spending, across the board cuts on other agencies. He's gutting Meals on Wheels. Meals on damn wheels. This is a target to be cut so that he can increase his spending on the military. The Trump administration released a blueprint budget that would eliminate funding for the Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG program, which provides partial funding for local Meals on Wheels. So what are we going to spend money on? The military. Who's going to pay for it? The poor and the needy and the indigent. But it gets worse. So in addition to the local Meal on Wheels, the National Meal on Wheels office receives the bulk of its funding from sources other than the block grant. But the effect of the cuts on local Meals on Wheels is still not exactly clear exactly how adversely affected they will be. Just a snapshot of the overall figures. So you have the Environmental Protection Agency is going to see a net change in 31% in their budget. 31% of their budget is going to be cut. State and other development programs, 29%. Agriculture is going to lose 21%. Labor, 21%. Justice, 20%. Health and Human Services, 16%. Commerce, 16% decrease. Education, 14% decrease. Transportation, 13% decrease, despite his claims that he's going to do all of this for the infrastructure. He's going to gut transportation by 13%. Housing and urban development, 12% decrease. The Department of the Interior, 12%. Energy, 6%. Treasury, 4%. NASA, 1%. And the only people who are going to see increases is Veteran Affairs, 6%. Great. Homeland Security, an increase of 7%. And Defense, an increase of 10%. Veteran Affairs, yes, right? Because it has been disgusting in all previous administrations, the way we treat the soldiers that we send off to fight our wars, right? But an increase in spending on defense at this juncture, for what purposes? We saw the budget that Paul Ryan passed that gave the military more money than they even asked for. And now on top of that, they're going to see a net increase of 10% in Donald Trump's budget. And more importantly than simply what they're spending it on, who he's cutting it from. I mean, the National Institute of Health. He's cutting funding for them. The Center for Public Broadcasting, which is one of the organization that helps create NPR and your local PBS, he's cutting funding there. Now, granted, this is not the budget that's going to come out of the House and the Senate. It's not. But again, it is a clear statement of Donald Trump's values, such that he has any values. It is a mentality of, I mean, look at it. If you look at everything here, right? If you look at what he's increasing, veteran affairs, homeland security, and defense, it gets back to this nativist mentality that has been at the root of American society from the beginning. One of the slogans during the Revolutionary War was taxes for defense, but not 1 cent more. In other words, they were willing to spend money on the military, on the they were willing to spend money on conflict, but not 1 cent more. And this is a sentiment that exists in American society since its inception. It's here today. And you have people like, not that he's important, but I want to point him out, Glenn Beck, who looks at this. And as a Christian man, he is so proud of Trump for gutting Meals on Wheels in order to spend more money on the military. That's a hell of a Christian position, Glenn Beck. And the only reason I bring Glenn Beck up is because of the fondness that the quote unquote resistance found and had with Glenn Beck. You know, what do you think about him now? Resistance? What do you think about him? Now that he's celebrating, he's super proud of Trump because he's created this draconian budget that emphasizes war and has no commitment to social development, no commitment to development of human capital, of just anything investing in the people. Let's put our money in weapons and warfare and homeland security, you know, the surveillance state. So to be honest with you, my first glance at this budget suggests that this is not even a Donald Trump budget. This is your standard token Republican budget. These are the values that they express on an ongoing basis. This is what they consider to be a moral budget. I had to do this to keep me from cussing. I'm sorry, radio audience, you can't see my air quotes. But this to them represents a moral statement, right? Just like Paul Ryan said of the Obamacare repeal piece of legislation, that it was it's a bill of mercy, when in fact it was a bill, according to the young Kennedy, I forgot his first name, the congressman who was part of the Robert Kennedy family. He said it is a bill of malice, right? So their entire value system is completely opposite of anything remotely moral. Even if your morals are not based on a religion, it's completely bereft of any investment in humanity. But all our cards are on the table for spending money to kill people and then to take care of our soldiers after that. The only thing redeeming in this entire budget is the fact that he wants to spend more on our veterans, but he wants to create more veterans. He wants to create more veterans by increasing funding to the military so that we can have a reason to go to war and then create more veterans. At least he's not, at least he's not going to send them off to war and then gut the VA afterwards. But again, this is a moral statement. Budgets are always a statement of your values, and Donald Trump doesn't value health and human services. He doesn't value the National Institute of Health. He doesn't value meals on damn wheels, like the most basic human. It's like, who sits down to just? I want to demonstrate this for you. Who sits down and thinks about, man, we really got to spend more money on weapons. How are we going to do this? Raise taxes? No. Don't raise taxes. What the hell is wrong with you? Let's take food out of the mouths of the most needy people in America. That's how we're going to pay for this shit. Like, this is literally, this is what you do in this type of budget. We're not going to increase taxes to spend on this military increase, but we're going to take food out of the mouths of the neediest people in America in order to spend more money on war. Asinine doesn't even begin to describe the type of character or the void of character that these politicians, they're not human.